Welcome back, everybody. I'm not sure when that started. To episode 82 of Dangerous Rhetoric. We're hanging out tonight. I'm a little sleepy, so I might be a little goofy and discombobulated, but that's okay. And we're hanging out with my ladies from California. Hi. Hey, ladies. How's it going?
We're good. Glad to be here.
I'm not going to say your name out loud because I recently had my last video pulled from YouTube. Episode 80 with Eric Abenante was pulled because we said the forbidden phrase about the 2020 event that you're not allowed to talk about.
Yeah.
So I have to be like extra careful now.
I had my Twitter censored. It was restricted earlier because I had posted something about that, and I didn't even mention it at all. And then I had to prove I wasn't a bot.
Oh my god, it's so commie. It's ridiculous. Do you guys just want to introduce yourselves and tell folks where they can find you?
Yep, we're Jen and Meg. We are DOT. You can see the name on the screen.
DOTR.
DOTR, yes. We have Instagram. We're on TikTok, Twitter, Facebook-ish.
Not really.
Yeah, not really, but
for me, I have my personal account, which is just another fed up American. Literally that. We're from California. Horrible, lovely, beautiful California.
Blue collar lesbians, working hard.
Surviving. Just barely trying to. California's gotten insane, but
same as here. So thanks everyone for joining us. Don't forget to like, subscribe, comment. We are going to talk about the disturbing world of pedophilia tonight. Unfortunately, a lot of stuff has come across the Twitterverse. I'm seeing a lot of things and it's disturbing and I need to vent. So we're going to talk about all this shit.
Let's do it.
I don't know, ladies, where do you want to start? We were talking about a few of these things pre-record start, but I'll let y'all. What do you want to start with first?
I think the biggest news story right now is the Tiffany Haddish and Aries Spears video that's going around.
Yes, tell me about this because this I did not hear about. You guys can give me all the details and I'll try to look up something.
Okay, you can. I think I posted the video onto my personal Twitter. It's at Mostly Peaceful Gatey is mine. And so it's Aries Spears and Tiffany Haddish, and they have a supposed skit where it's called like looking through the eyes of a pedophile or some shit like that.
Big lie.
No, that's something else.
That's something else.
Maybe I didn't. You know what? I posted it on my Facebook, friendly. I'm sorry.
Oh, it's okay.
Yeah, that's where I posted it because I knew they would take it down on Twitter.
But it has, it's like a 7-year-old. I believe it was her. She's related to him somehow.
No, she's not. It was just a kid.
Well, they were watching him, and the whole video, he's in his underwear. I'll just put it out there. And then it has Aries looking through like cutouts, eye holes of a newspaper at this child, playing with his toys, and like at one point the kid is on his back and his legs get spread, and it just shows all of this. And at the very end of the video, it shows that the grooming worked and the child started seeing him in like sexual eyes.
Whoa.
Yeah, it's mad gross.
At the very end, it has a little boy rubbing baby oil on Aries. It's disgusting.
Oh my.
So that kid was 7 years old at the time. He went to apparently Los Angeles Police Department and is trying to press charges against Tiffany Haddish and Aries Spears for basically child SA.
Yeah. So he was 7 then, and
and his sister was somehow involved too, who was 14 at the time, but she's now his legal guardian.
Oh my god, this is so messed up.
Sorry if you hear a helicopter in the background. We're sitting on our balcony, and we're in lovely California that has police copters 24/7. I love LA County.
Oh my God. I saw a video, speaking of California, I saw a video the other day of this dude like just like letting kids off the bus. And I guess he was just like chaperoning. But these kids are like getting off the bus to like go home to like their neighborhood. And there's just like dozens of homeless people. It's just like laid out.
Yeah.
Encamped. And there's like children out. They're like smoking drugs and doing, it's just, I'm like, this is like,
Oh yeah. I
like-
work down the street actually, from a place on Washington Avenue in Commerce/East LA, and it is just a whole mile of nothing but tent camp. They even went so far as to put porta potties out there because there's so many people, and they were getting complaints about feces.
oh my God.
Yeah, that's how lovely it is here. Everybody thinks LA is so beautiful. No. You're just looking at the Hollywood Boulevard and the stars on the ground. No, you don't. Go a little further outside of that, and it's sad. It breaks my heart, honestly.
So I just put Haddish and Aries into Twitter and just did like a quick search. And it's just like, lock them up. This is not comedy, quote unquote. Wow.
Yeah, there's no defending it. Like, it was really bad. Like, I don't even know how you could even think that was in any way remotely comedy. It's no.
Yeah, here I got a Daily Caller.
I'm sending it to you on Jen's Twitter DM.
Oh, awesome. Brave Dad. Which one? This one.
Yeah, there you go.
Yeah, just sent it.
Awesome. Yes, this is the Daily Caller. Comedians Tiffany Haddish and Aries Spears are accused of grooming and molesting a 14-year-old girl and her 7-year-old brother in a lawsuit filed Monday. Plaintiffs, identified only as Jane and John Doe, now 22 and 15 respectively, accused Haddish and Spears of coercing them into sexually suggestive acts on camera while both were underage, according to the Daily Beast. The two plaintiffs' mother told the outlet she had met Haddish through comedy. The pair became close during their respective divorces. We were both going through a divorce, the mother told the Daily Beast. Messy divorces. We just got really, really super close. And the lawsuit states Haddish called the family for birthday and Christmas celebrations and regularly checked in, regardless whether she was busy with filming. Oh, wait. I pulled it up. Okay, good. In summer 2013, Haddish was guest speaker at comedy camp. Jane attended. Jane was allegedly told Haddish had the perfect role for her in a commercial. Neither Jane nor her mother was aware of the details, stating only that Haddish and Spears knew the plot, according to the suit. Haddish and Spears literally asked Jane to watch a recording of a group of college students arguing over a Subway sandwich, but the scene quickly devolved into a more suggestive short story, showing the co-eds moaning and making sexual noises as they both ate the sandwich in a manner that simulated the act of fellatio, according to the suit. Yeah, that's grooming. Spears then allegedly told Jane to mimic the act seen on screen, including the noises precisely like what she had heard through the video. Okay. Suit states Jane fell silent and became nervous and disgusted until Haddish returned to the room. Haddish verbally explained what was expected, and then showed plaintiff how to give fellatio, including movements, noises, moaning, and groaning, the lawsuit alleges. Wow. Messed up. I don't even want to continue reading. Haddish paid Jane $100 before sending her home, according to the suit. Roughly a year later, Haddish approached Jane's younger brother for another video, which she allegedly claimed was a sizzle reel for Nickelodeon, according to the suit. John ended up participating in a Funny or Die skit titled Through a Pedophile's Eyes, according to the outlet. Funny or Die told the Daily Beast that Funny or Die found this video absolutely disgusting and would never produce such content. We were not involved with the conceptualization, development, funding, or production of this video. It was uploaded to the site as user-generated content and was removed in 2018, immediately after becoming aware of its existence. Both siblings say they attended the shoot at Spears' home, where they were separated into different rooms, Jane on the couch downstairs and John upstairs to film, according to the report. Daily Beast reviewed the video, claiming it shows Haddish playing the boy's mother and Spears, the pedophile. John is only in his underwear for most of the video, according to the outlet. Footage zooms in on various parts of his body while he plays. The outlet continued. Various scenes included spraying John with baby oil. Oh my God. And having him play with the train set in a way that could be interpreted as phallic masturbation. Jesus. Wow. Another scene shows Spears smoking a cigarette while looking at the naked boy in a bathtub. The Beast
And
report.
hopping in with him.
Wow. John called his mother crying after the shoot, according to the outlet. When she demanded the footage, Spears allegedly told her that her son had been uncooperative, so everything had been erased. The report continued. Well, obviously not.
Exactly. So that there shows they had something to hide.
Yeah. So I would say if you had a chance, watch the video, but I would not like show it on your live.
No,
right
yeah.
now.
I also don't really want to watch it.
I think it's important for other people to watch it to really get the gravity of the situation and understand what's going on with children nowadays. Like it's really hard to watch and continue watching. But I feel it is important because it actually shows the way that grooming happens, which a lot of people don't understand.
Yeah.
And they don't understand what they're doing to those kids. They're making these kids feel it's okay and to go along with everything that's happening to the point where they're making the kids have feelings back for them because they feel that it's okay. And I think it really does show the succession of grooming. So while it's disturbing as hell, I think it's an important message for people who are on our side to see what's really going on out in the world.
Oh my God. I'm watching it right now. I'm not going to put it on the TV, but I'm watching it and reacting to it.
Yeah.
This is very disturbing.
Yeah.
That's what we said.
The F.
Yeah.
Oh my God. I can't even. I gotta like turn it. I gotta make it go a little fast.
And it goes right into it. There's like not even a minute.
This
They
is
don't
not.
even waste time.
This is
Just
not.
like
Oh my God. This is weird. What the fuck?
That's what I said.
Why would you think this is funny?
Yeah.
It's not funny at all.
Granted, I haven't muted, so I'm not hearing any of the dialogue, but still.
Most of YouTube cut it out. Or YouTube cut most of it out. The dialogue.
Audio, yeah.
Oh, word. Oh, wow. And then he jumps in the tub.
Yep.
Wow. That's disturbing.
Just wait till the very end.
Oh, my God.
That's what really pissed me off the most.
I'm just like, where? And it's so funny that, like, these kids are just, like, left to these people by, mom, because mom trusts. She's like, oh, I met her at comedy. Yeah, make videos with my kids. It'll be fine.
So apparently the mom, the reason why the sister has custody of the boy who's now 14 is because she has mental health issues. I'm willing to bet she was probably a drug addict.
Right.
Probably had a lot of fucked in issues, and they took advantage of that fact too, because pedos do that.
So now it's like looking through the
Kids' eyes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And why is that Spears who's like now naked?
Yeah.
Or clothes like
Just in his boxers.
yeah. Smoking a cigarette and like looking at the kid who's got his face covered. This is so creepy. Oh, and now he's got the kid spraying him with baby oil and rubbing it on him. Okay. Wow.
What you don't hear is that the song that's playing in the background is R. Kelly's Bump and Grind.
Of course it's R. Kelly.
Yeah, no shit.
Well,
Yuck.
Yeah.
So that's what they're being shamed for and prosecuted for.
No,
and
they're not being prosecuted for it. I'll be surprised if
they're not being prosecuted at the moment, but prosecuted in the general public's eyes by the general public. But yeah, he's 14 now and he's pressing charges because apparently the video has just rearisen and since it became super public.
Can you imagine?
Yeah.
Can you imagine that being you when you were 14?
No. It reminds me of the other kid on Twitter that was trying to get his essay that they posted.
He was 13.
Which was much worse off of Twitter, and they weren't going to comply. until he finally got a lawyer.
Yeah, I think they had to get the DHS, Department of Homeland Security, involved in order to get.
Sadly, because they wouldn't take it down.
Okay, so there's that story.
Yeah.
Also, recently breaking was this shit. Which one do I want to go to first? There's so many.
I know it's been like a avalanche of shit.
I know. It's good that it's all coming out. That's why. But we've got to talk about it so we can process it as a family.
100%.
Because this is messing with my sleep. Like last night, I was having trouble sleeping because I was like a little paranoid about all the craziness with the FBI, you know, raiding all of the Trump people now and like taking this to like a whole new level of Gestapo.
One thing I do have to say about that is Mike Lindell capitalized off of it, which I find epically hilarious. So now he's promoting that if you use a code, what is it? 2FEDS, 2FEDS, you get 66% off of your order. He capitalized on it. You go, Mike Lindell. You go.
Bravo, sir. Bravo. Way to turn that frown upside down. Let's work that magic. It's very disturbing. And, you know, he said that the FBI told him not to say anything. He just kind of like laughed. But I don't think people realize the cojones, the testicular fortitude that it takes to, you know, defy armed agents of the federal government that arrive at your location and like produce documents and credentials and badges and have guns and start making demands for your technology. I didn't even know if he like actually handed it over to them or if he like, you know, made them like wait for it. I wasn't sure exactly what had happened. Because like if somebody just like showed up, you know, in my life, like I'm walking my dog and all of a sudden it's like, where are the feds? And, you know, here's a warrant for your phone. I'm like, no. I'm like, you can like, you know, we can go to have a meeting in front of a judge, or you can talk to my lawyer. Like, I don't know, like, how do I know that any of that is real? You know what I mean? Like, this could just be an elaborate scam as far as I'm concerned.
One question I have about the whole thing. The feds have the ability to go in and see all of your phone records, text messages, and phone calls
without the phone.
I know, right?
So what's the point of going and taking his phone?
Harassment.
Yeah, that's it.
That's all it is. It's just harassment.
Intimidation.
At this point. But they've been doing it, from what I read, to a lot of well-named Trump supporters, but a lot of the other ones won't come out and say anything.
Yeah, there was one woman, Lisa Gallagher, who came out. She was on Tucker Carlson last night or the night before. And there was also this other woman, Amy Schumer, I think is her name. She was a organizer for the Trump campaign. And they both got like accused of like, you know, going into Capitol 1-6 or whatever, you know, anonymous accusations to the FBI, and you know, the FBI show up and start making wild demands to access to their social medias, their technology, and it's just like, again, like, what's the point? Like, they don't need that. Like, it's just wild intimidation. It's harassment. You know, they're trying to create this environment where Trump is seen as radioactive. They don't, you know, they want to make it hard for him to have legal help and aid. You know, if he gets back in 2024, they want to do everything they can to prevent that. So they're trying to make this narrative like all the Trump people are these insurrectionist, anti-American, whatever. But in reality, like, that's them. They're like communists.
Yeah.
Like,
yeah.
Full communists.
And I like how they try to do the distract and play. So it's our candidates for the primaries are doing really, really horrible. So let's just throw the T word back in there and make up some BS and make everybody in every news outlet report on that, rather than the fact that their candidates are tanking. Yeah. Although, do I have to say, the people pulling up that abortion thing right before primaries is probably not the best idea. I just saw on Tucker that he was just like, well, every day is a good day to bring this up and save an unborn life. And like, I get it, but if you're going to play political tactics so that way you can win on your side,
Lindsey Graham is a traitor, and everybody knows he's a traitor. His wife has been taking Chinese money for decades. Like, that's where all their money comes from. It comes straight from China through her business dealings. And you can like Google this. Like, I'm not asserting wild conspiracy theories. Like, it's very obvious that his wife has a business in China. She's like of Chinese descent. Not that that's a bad thing, but you know, they make all their money through their business relationships with businesses in China, and all business in China is connected to the Chinese Communist Party. So they're getting that good Chinese money. And Lindsey Graham, if you look at his voting record, there's always been a war that he's voted for. You know, he's a neoconservative. He's not really a conservative at any stretch of the imagination. He's just one of those, like, in there for himself, psychopathic, deep state politician types. You know what I mean? He's really, and he's not pushing this whole abortion thing because he's trying to actually do anything. He's trying to sabotage the midterms, and he's trying to rally Democratic base.
That's exactly the same thing I said. They're throwing this shit on purpose. It looks like they bought into, and I'm sorry, my conspiracy theorist is going to come out, but I really feel like they have bought into this one world government bullshit, and they got paid enough to do it. And now this is the narrative they're going to run with. And that is why they're trying to push this MAGA Republican thing, because they are trying to make it so the Trump endorsed people don't win.
Absolutely.
They can't be bought.
They want us to be seen as extremists. This is exactly what they did to the Jews during the Holocaust.
Yeah,
they painted them as these, subhuman terrorists that were always plotting, to subvert society, when in reality, that's what the actual, fascist, the Nazi party, that's what they were doing. And again, we see the same pattern repeating. History it's rhyming, it's not quite repeating. But we see these, fake Democrats, fake liberals. They're the farthest thing from liberal that you could be, actually. There is no more liberal on the left. It's all communist Borg hive mind, or your, alt-right neo-fascist. You know what I mean? They think that there's no more any there's no liberal and there's no conservative anymore. And it's sad. Because you actually really do need a liberal and conservative, a bicameral legislature.
I would say there are very, very few, though. So I feel like a lot of the MAGA people are actually people who left the left and realize that they're more conservative because the left went so far extreme, the line crossed them, not we crossed the line.
Yes.
And then there's also people like Tulsi, where she still considers herself a Democrat, but she is so in the middle that she's basically a libertarian. But in order to get any type of seat, she would have to be a Democrat. But I feel like at this point, she should just register as Republican because...
Yeah, but yesterday's, moderate classic liberal is today's MAGA Republican to these fucking people.
Exactly. There's a whole new third party. There's, the rhinos, and then there's the crazy people, and then there's us in the middle. And I think that's what the new MAGA Republican is we were shunned by both sides because we're logical and we think with our brains and facts over feelings.
Yeah, we're populists. It's a new populist movement, and it's ground up and it's organic and it's anti-establishment and it's anti-pedophile. And they don't like it because they're a bunch of friggin' pedos. As far as I'm concerned, there is so much evidence going, especially, a lot of these deep state players. There's a lot of things going into the Podesta brothers. There's I wrote this whole article in 2017 that came back up on Twitter because we were talking about the Podestas and their connections, because John Podesta has now been appointed he's like climate czar or something in the Biden administration. And, it's just, I can't help but notice how often the Biden administration points these very bizarre, twisted individuals. They've got Miss Rachel Levine. And then there's that other guy at the Department of Energy, who there was some scandal apparently about the hiring practices surrounding him, that he was not quite qualified, and that someone pulled some strings to get him that position because they wanted him in that position for political reasons. So it's just a very disturbing trend, and you can just see the communism everywhere if you pay attention. So this other thing that happened in Idaho we can talk about that for a minute. I have a link for that. Donde está el linky? But I'm so blown away by this because, you know, I remember not too long ago, there was this like really bad take on Twitter where this woman was like, you know, she was like seriously suggesting that like the idea of like porn for kids, like, you know, we could like have like wholesome porn, you know, for children so that they could actually like, you know, learn like the process by watching. And people were like, bitch, like, no, that's a bad idea. That's crazy. That's like pedo bait, like, you know, times a million. Like, what are you doing? And it was very, you know, very like ratio to all hell. And it went away. And now this comes along. And let me see if I can share this screen. Share a screen. And it's right here. Yeah, so there's this story. This comes from Anna Miller and Scott Yenner. Idaho government offers porn literacy to students, Planned Parenthood curriculum, and advocates for abortion. Maybe we'll just play so we can hear what these folks have to say for themselves.
Critical thinking skills are the largest component of porn literacy. It's the ability for young people to analyze and ask questions about the media that they're viewing. Porn is meant to sexually excite a viewer and create fantasy, right? So let's go ahead and start with elementary age use. And I know some people...
It says, trainers believe third grade students benefit from porn.
Third grade.
Activities include watching cartoon porn.
Oh, wow. That's so big.
Oh my God.
I never knew
Oh my
it.
fucking Lord.
Hey, Jane, what are you looking at?
Idaho government links students directly to abortion resources. So like they're trying to like make the kids horny so they get preggers and then have abortions. Like what the fuck is going on? New on abortionfinder.org.
Wow.
Wow.
Oh my God, teaching students how to hide porn browsing from parents.
And that when I've normalized watching porn and being curious, students are a lot more engaged in the conversation, but they're also building trust with me. It's okay if they have watched porn, and it's okay if they have thought about porn. I always make sure to say, someone being curious about sex and or porn does not make them a bad person, it makes them human. It's so important we normalize that this is a natural human experience.
Yeah, it's normal for adults. It's not normal for fucking third grade teachers. Like, what the fuck? What did we just watch? Jesus.
No, at that age, they don't even know that exists unless it's being fed to them.
And when you feed sexual content to children that young, that's called grooming. Like
Exactly.
It wasn't even until I was in 4th grade that I learned that girls have periods.
I had my first wet dream in 5th grade, I think. And it wasn't, I think it was around 5th grade and 6th grade. I started to know, like, I started to experience the idea of attraction. And I was attracted to the boys. And I didn't know what that meant. Like, I didn't understand what was going on. And then in 6th grade, they sat us down and they were like, you know, some of y'all start to feel funny around the girls. Like, you may, like, feel different around them. You may have a hard time talking to them. And in my head, I was like, you know, like I'm having that exact experience, but with the boys. And I almost like raised my hand to like mention that and like see what that meant. But some part of me was like, you know what? Nah, I'm going to keep that to myself for now.
That was the same. That was exactly the same with me. But that, like I said, we never had this foisted upon us, and we still know we're gay. Like, we still figured that out and navigated through it. I don't understand what this big push is.
And I don't know about y'all ladies, but nobody need to tell me how to diddle myself for me to figure that shit out.
No, exactly.
Did not need instruction from weird adults when I was in 3rd grade.
No. They're stealing our youth childhood away from them. They're stealing their ability to
Just be innocent.
be innocent and, you know, just live in a fantasy land of rainbows and army characters battling in war. Like, the innocence of a child is being lost. That imagination of a child is being lost, and it's being filled with porn, apparently.
They're eating it. They're eating the innocence of these children. They're just absorbing it. and it's just getting sucked right off. And then they're laying the groundwork for further damage down the line.
They are.
And if not necessarily, you know, but like not even intentionally, perhaps in some cases, I think a lot of these naive young female teachers, especially, are well-meaning, but I think they've been brainwashed at their educational institution, and now they're passing the ideological infection on to their charges, their children, their students, and it's very, very disturbing to see. And especially if it's happening in Idaho. I mean, here in New York City, we've got severe institutionalized grooming. We've got drag queens in over I think it's 147 public schools on a regular basis. So, I mean, I don't know what to call this other than institutionalized grooming or institutionalized pedophilia, because it's coming from the institutions. It's coming from the public schools. It's coming from the media companies, you know, especially Disney. And Disney has a very scandalous history with that kind of stuff. And now there was even recently these are old allegations, but this guy, Dan Schneider, who was at Nickelodeon, he was a Nickelodeon showrunner for many years. And apparently he was sleeping with the teenagers, like the 15-year-old, 16-year-old girls, oral sex, you know, getting them drunk, all this stuff. And, you know, the allegations have been around forever and nobody really did anything about it. And, you know, everybody sort of laughed it off. But now it's like out there, it's like, you know, sort of public record. All these kids are adults now. And it's just like, why is nothing happening? Like,
that's the crazy part about everything. Epstein, the fucking logs for that island. This, like, it's public knowledge, but nobody's doing a goddamn thing about it. What the fuck?
The laptop.
The whole joke on Twitter for like the last 12 hours has been the FBI raided the MyPillow guy, but they didn't raid Jeffrey Epstein, his clients, or any of his handlers. Like,
yeah.
Like Leslie Wexner is sitting pretty in Ohio in his multi, probably $1 billion compound. And who knows what's happening there, because he's got connections to local law enforcement, local mafia. Like the whole situation in Ohio is like a whole nother situation, just like, the Jersey, the Italian mafias in Jersey. People don't know about like the fucking Israelis in Ohio. Like there's some connections out there between Les Wexner and a whole bunch of fucking people. And he's got it all locked down out there, so it's very hard to get anything on him or his people. And that's why, he's probably well connected at the federal level. He's probably connected through, whoever else Epstein was working for. And that's why these things don't, come out. They don't get exposed because they're working for intelligence. They're part of an intelligence operation. And, it's clearly benefiting somebody with a lot of power and influence. So we're just left to sit here and bitch about it.
It reminds me of Rose McGowan with what's his face.
Mm-hmm.
That shitbird Weinstein.
Yeah.
He actually had ex-Mossad tracking her, from ex-Israeli army.
Yeah, there's some interesting.
Silence her. Yeah.
There was also a big bust in South America some years ago, I remember, with some ex-Israeli expats. And they were doing like a whole human trafficking, pimping of the girls thing in South America. And a lot of them actually fled. They went back to Israel and escaped charges. So it's like shady.
Super shady.
Oh my God, there's so much pedo stuff. Like it's just, and I'm glad it's coming out. Did you guys hear about the problem with Patreon?
No. Oh wait.
Oh God.
Vaguely.
Hold on, I'll play the video so the audience can get up to date. But there's a part 1 and a part 2. Where's Mr. Tizzy? Oh my God, did you guys see Alex Stein harassing Eric Swalwell?
Yeah, that was dope.
I'm not gonna play it right now, but amazing. Did I scroll past it? Where did it go? Oh, and then there's this picture. Hold on, let's recall this image right now because this is important. So this is Ghislaine Maxwell and Lauren Powell Jobs, Steve Jobs' widow, So heiress to a $20 billion fortune. And also, I believe she purchased the Atlantic shortly, around like a couple, probably like a decade ago, something like that. So, whenever you see like a hot, propaganda take that like clearly benefits the CIA establishment, you're like, I wonder who's really running that. But anyway, where did I want to go? I'll jump back here. Sorry, folks, I'm slow. Maybe I'll edit this out in post. Where the heck is it? No, that's kids eating crickets.
Okay.
Oh, I can't find it now. I thought I had it on the wall. Oh no, there's this one. We'll jump to this one actually. So my buddy sent me some interesting advertisements on Facebook that were popping up in his feed, and they were very, very disturbing. I'll show you here. These were for these books. So this is The Nudo Twins by Mark Roeder and Camp Courageous by Daniel Elijah Sanderfer.
I saw those. What the hell?
Yeah, so there's this whole thing of what I'm calling pedo smut that's like gay YA romance or erotica, but like it's all like 60 pages and it has covers like this, and I'm like, 60 pages? $1.99. And these authors, they write a lot of this stuff. Like, so I then I was like, okay, let me do, my due diligence. Let's go to Amazon and let's look up Daniel Elijah Sanderfer. Here he is. Oh, damn it. Elijah Sanderfer. So he's got a lot of these books. The Quarterback's Secret. Returned. So Camp Courageous has part 1 and part 2.
And the fact that they're only 60 pages, bro, who are they? Come on, you know who they're targeted toward.
And honestly, like, look at these like shirtless like teenage boys on the cover. Like, come on, like, what is?
Yeah,
this?
like what in the Abercrombie and Fitch in disguise is this? Come on.
What is this? Whiskey, 3 to Noi, a gay coming of age Southern Gothic. Like, what? Come on.
Yeah, no, come on, dude.
Come on. This is
like NAMBLA. That's NAMBLA shit.
This is some frigging pedos. Look how much of it is too. There's a lot. Like, this guy is prolific.
And the worst part is they're doing this shit in our name.
Right? Like, Jesus.
Yeah, too much. And then they get pissed off at us when we fracture and do our own thing because now we're not protecting them. I got told the other day.
Okay.
You need to help protect trans youth. No, I don't. No, I don't.
So then there's this other guy, Mark Roeder, and these are just 2 of these authors, right? And look how prolific. So many, right?
So somebody's actually consuming this shit. It probably is the adult fucking groomers that are trying to figure out how to get these young boys in.
So this is let's read the description to the Nudo Twins. Tyler and Tanner are identical twins and best buddies, but their relationship is about to be transformed forever. Tyler grows increasingly uncomfortable with the rumors that haunt him and his brother, but Tanner doesn't want their relationship to change. Want it or not, change comes. Tyler falls for Charlie, the new boy in town, and Tanner reaches out to help his teammate, Iggy, who's crippled in an accident and confined to a wheelchair. As Tyler and Charlie grow closer, Tanner grabs onto a small ray of hope that Iggy may someday walk again and pushes Iggy to make it happen. Just when he feels he's losing his brother, Tanner begins to develop feelings for Iggy that he never thought he could feel for anyone except his twin. The Nudo Twins is a story of an unconventional relationship and the ability of love to adapt to almost any situation.
So basically, what it is insinuating is that the brothers had feelings for each other, and then they grew a little older and started having feelings for other boys, and it made one of them jealous.
No, well, and then they maybe like had some sort of poly thing at the end of the situation, because then there's like the beams get crossed at the end there.
But it's funny because you know it was a member of the wokerati who wrote this because they had to make it complete with a disabled person.
Right? The wokerati. We must be inclusive of disabled teens.
Yes, or else we're ableist.
And this isn't even the worst one.
Oh my goodness.
Yeah, there's this one. The youngest frat bro ever. Richard K. Arbuster III is 14, and he's beginning his freshman year at Indiana University. At least he thinks he is, until his grandfather's ultimatum: join the Alpha Alpha Omega fraternity or return to the dreaded and detested Bratsworth Academy. Richard has no desire to join a frat. He would rather spend his time reading and studying, but he has no choice and sets out to become the youngest frat bro ever.
And we all know what frats are about.
And there is a romantic relationship described in the story. At least if you go down to the reviews, I went down into the reviews and I started digging. And there is one that mentions that, young Richard has a relationship with a much older college-age boy that the reviewer, quote, did not find believable because of the difference in their ages.
Wow.
So... And I hesitate to actually download a copy just to see how bad it is, because I'm afraid of being tainted. It's I want to know, but I don't want to know. You know what I mean? I think I don't need, I think I've seen enough. You know what I mean? Do I really need to
No.
do I need to? What do you think? I don't know. What do you think?
No. Don't do it.
I'm scared.
I'd be scared that they come after me. Give it 3 years, and all of a sudden the government's going to be back on pedos are bad, and then be surfing everybody's internet to find who did what.
No, seriously, I was even scared to post that Tiffany Haddish video because I was like, "Oh shit, what if they get me for CP just because I know the way they're going and they know I'm a Trump supporter?" Mm-hmm. And I said, "Well, you know what? The world needs to see it. Fuck it. I know that didn't come from me, so."
And yet, you don't get banned for posting shit like that, but I got banned for telling somebody I'd cut a bitch for putting dish soap on my cast iron pan. 35 days.
That's violent. That's why.
Don't put soap on a cast iron pan.
No,
you can post something that has basic child grooming shit. I don't know.
I learned a long time ago. The thing is that Megan's only been political the last couple of years, but I've been in this for the last 3 years. I know what words to say and not to say, so that's how I dodge it. Beep, beep.
Oh no, I've been banned 4 times in the last 5 months from Facebook and banned once from Twitter. So
I know, I just know how to dodge it,
and I have no filter.
Clearly,
that happens.
That shit's gross though, and the fact that they're profiting off of these little books,
Amazon's making money too. Everybody's making.
Oh yeah.
Aries,
come on, Bezos is in on this shit too. They're all in it.
Okay, so let me find. There's the other one. So where's the TikTok one? I don't know. Where did I go? TikTok. No, it was maybe a Patreon scandal. So the Patreon thing is really interesting because they fired a whole Patreon fires security team.
What?
Yeah. Oh, I think I know what this is. I remember.
Here it is. Patreon confirms security team layoffs. This is from a few days ago, September 9th. Patreon has confirmed it has laid off 5 employees from its security team. Emily Metcalf, a former senior security engineer at Patreon, said in a LinkedIn post on Thursday, "So for better or worse, I and the rest of the Patreon security team are no longer with the company." According to a tweet, Metcalf joined the company in November of 2021. Metcalf could not be reached for comment. In a brief statement to TechCrunch, Patreon's U.S. policy head Ellen Satterwhite confirmed the 5 layoffs, but declined to answer any of our questions or say how many employees it had on the security team prior to the layoffs. Satterwhite did not dispute that the entire team had been laid off. Satterwhite would not say for what reason Patreon laid off its security engineers, but added the company works with external organizations to, quote, develop our security capabilities and conduct regular security assessments, end quote. Following news of the layoffs, security professionals across the industry began posting open job listings for those who lost their jobs at Patreon. Thousands of tech jobs, including cybersecurity, have been lost this year. Blah, 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 blah. Okay, so they don't go into it here. But I saw in another video, I think it was Mom Uncharted on Twitter, actually. Let me see.
Wasn't it about something that they weren't censoring people under the age of 18?
Yes.
Yeah, that's what I thought. So people under the age of 18 were posting things and they weren't censoring it and letting it just slide through.
We're talking really bad shit. But TikTok's doing the same thing, where there was very underage girls doing new TikToks.
Yeah.
Oh, she must have deleted her thing, or she's got her link to her page here on her TikTok. Duet page. Patreon has some.
First, I don't think I've been tagged in a video more than the video from Ben in the captions. Ben was talking about Patreon, and if you know me, I have a problem with Patreon because they allow child exploitation on their website. You can check out my various videos relating to that in my Patreon saga playlist. Well, Ben's video was referencing that they recently laid off their entire security team. And then he revealed this from Glassdoor.
This is another website you may have heard of called Glassdoor. It's a place where people can go and anonymously submit reviews about their
That's what I saw.
company. A lot of big companies have a page on Glassdoor where people write reviews and give honest feedback about how it is to work in that company and what the culture's like. Give people who are looking for jobs an honest idea of what they might be stepping into. So on Patreon's page on Glassdoor, there is this review from August 16th of 2022 from someone who was a trust and safety specialist in San Francisco, California. This is a lot, right? So let's read this very quickly. Okay, benefits, great opportunity to help creators around the world achieve their goals. All good things. Cons. We are being told specifically by management and executives not to take down content that is illegal or reported as S in nature involving M unless the police make contact with legal or we have an order by a court. When others try to inform management that there is an amalgamation of accounts that are selling lewd photographs of what appear to be C, all concerns are dismissed. It's all about advocating for customers who are M-attracted persons or MAP. This is no way to run a company. This is no way to allow children to be exploited on our platform. Advice, have federal law enforcement investigate the company because there's no way that what we're doing is legal. That was posted August 16th. It is now, September 8th, I think they got fired. What is happening over at Patreon? Please, someone help me figure this out because this could be massive.
First,
So after I saw that video, I actually went to Glassdoor because I have it on my phone, and legit, I found the review, and it has so many this is a helpful hint. I can't. I really can't. They are sitting there and allowing this to happen, and management is telling them to allow it to happen. Why? Because it's profitable.
Yes.
It's gross.
Just like COVID shots for children was profitable. They exploit them because we are exploitable resources to them. We are human resources. We are just farm animals for them to move around and to profit off of, because to them, they see us as gullible little sheep. But some of us are not so gullible, and we're talking a lot, and people are listening, and things are going to change. And that's what they're afraid of, which is why they work so hard to censor the conversation.
Yep.
And make it so hard for us to communicate about these things. Yeah, so Tizzy Ent was the guy on TikTok that I saw video. Let me find him again. Because he
I know who Tizzy is.
Yeah, he's good. Where is he? Tizzy Ent. Oh my God, can you hear New York in the background?
Yeah, I'm surprised you didn't hear LA in the background.
Here.
I believe I have evidence that there's
Okay, this is a good one.
parents who are using Patreon to sell images of their underage children to child predators.
I posted that video back at the beginning of May of this year when Mom Uncharted brought me what I can only describe as a plethora of evidence that parents were setting up Instagrams for their underage, often adolescent daughters, getting huge followings by posting very risque.
Bro, what the fuck? It was the parents themselves?
Profiles that we looked at all had links to Patreon accounts
selling
where
their
people could
kids.
subscribe.
And there,
They don't deserve to have kids, dude.
you have access to over 850 images of her that can't be posted here.
and it was multiple accounts, many with absolutely massive followings.
Look
And
at
when
those
people
numbers.
report them, Patreon's response was, well, it's an 18-year-old who has the account. Yeah, no, they all say
Yeah, no
supervised
shit.
by mom. We get it. But here's the problem. A site like the O and the F, you have to
Oh, but the little girl that everybody keeps talking about.
prove that they're 18. Every single person that appears in content.
Yeah, so
Patreon
this I didn't know.
doesn't seem to care about the media that is uploaded. You get subscribers, and then you give them whatever you want to give them, and they're like, as long as an 18-year-old runs the account, we're fine. No, I was willing to believe that Patreon was kind of oblivious to this loophole that was being exploited.
This
I
guy's
was
kind of
willing to
hot
believe
too.
that. I don't believe
He's
because
giving me
recent
like
events
dad
involving
energy.
Patreon indicate otherwise. So
Like
first,
that dad biker energy. It reminds me of somebody my dad would hung out with.
whole team. Emily Metcalf, a former senior security engineer at Patreon,
Yeah, this
said
is
in a
what we just
LinkedIn
went
post
over.
on Thursday, so for better or worse, I and the rest of the Patreon security team are no longer with the company. That just seemed odd. And then someone found a post on Glassdoor that was much worse. Glassdoor is where current or former employees can post their insights on what are the pros and cons of working at
Yeah,
any
this
given
guy
company.
really put it
On
all
August
together.
16th, a trust and safety specialist from Patreon posted the following cons. We are being told by management and executives not to take down content that is illegal or was reported as being S in nature involving minors unless the police make contact with legal or we have an order by a
Hey,
court. And others
police,
try to
make
inform
contact
management
with
that there is an
legal.
amalgamation of accounts that are selling lewd images of what appear to be children. All concerns are dismissed. It's about advocating for customers who are M attracted. Yeah, attention DOJ, you need to investigate Patreon. And if you're a reporter who wants to do a story on this, I'd be more than happy to provide more context because this needs to stop. I believe I have evidence.
Yeah, right. Maybe we should have him on the show.
Yeah, for sure. He probably would come on. He's actually really cool.
Yeah, he seems like he's got like a pretty regular thing going on. I mean, he's got huge.
Yeah, he's pretty solid.
4.
I mean, anybody who looks like they were an old school,
TikTok.
anybody who looks like they're an old school biker, like in my opinion, I grew up around that. They're all very about keeping the children safe and like protecting them and all of that. So I look at him like he would be my uncle, just a big teddy bear,
Totes. Hot.
and I'm sure he would. I'm sure he would talk about it.
So, Patreon, Amazon, Audible, Disney.
It's like everywhere. It's an infection.
No, it's every
Hollywood.
every top 500 Forbes business that is a media outlet. There you go.
Oh wait, there's more. I just remembered more. Do you guys want to see? Oh no, I can't show the Justin. Oh, I can't show the music videos because it'll copyright claim me. All right, you know what we can do is I will do it, and I'll put the full show. I'll edit the show when I put it on YouTube, and I'm gonna have to edit out the music videos because otherwise it will copyright claim me.
Yeah.
But we can watch them, and I can edit it out, and you can, if you guys want to see these videos, we are going to watch "Yummy" from Justin Bieber, and then we are going to watch "LA Devotee" from Panic at the Disco. So that's going to start now. Not like
I mean,
good thing, but it doesn't feel like a good thing to me.
so at the very end, when it shows him all alone at the tables after he's gone and done what he has to do,
Right?
it like speaks volumes. But then I'm sorry, but the point where it saw them eating, and then I forgot what exactly the lyrics said while they were eating, but I was just like correlating the two together. Disgusting.
About how he's compromised.
Yeah, it's about how he's compromised and how he's he got that call to go do the yummy whatever, and then you see them taking bites of food like they're eating him. No,
Yeah, it was very flesh-like, right?
Yeah.
And I hate to be that person that goes into the adrenochrome thing, but the third person at the table, you could say she kind of looks like Huma Abedin.
and why were they all old except for the people playing the music? Why were the only workers kids?
Yes. It was an interesting choice, right? So, I'd never seen that, and Justin, apparently he's like found God or something and knows that the industry is evil, or he says much in public, when he's been at these Christian retreats and stuff, and he's tried to get out, but I guess he can't, or it's complicated because he's incriminated and compromised, and so any night, any day, they can, snap their fingers and make him do whatever they want.
Well, I don't know if you heard about this, but when he had the droopy face shit, the Huntington syndrome, and his wife had to have heart surgery, he basically got barred from being able to discuss it, except for just to say, hey guys, this is what's happening, but not ever bring up the jabby jabs.
Yeah.
Because they were going to cut his contract.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And of course we knew, everybody knew it was the fucking shots.
Oh, yeah. Come on, look at it. It's all, there's thousands of people, but I know I don't want to get this censored. So
Yeah.
Right, I guess we shouldn't get into it. Anyway, talk to your doctor about what's right for you. Huh? No, okay, so that was Justin Bieber yummy.
Actually, her doctor told her not to.
yeah, my doctor told me not to get it.
My doctor told me not to.
Yep.
I have allergies, lots of allergies, and dietary sensitivities, and a hyperactive immune system. So I was not a good candidate. So the other one was what the fuck, LA Devotee. This is actually a really good video. I love Brandon Urie. He's such a hot bro. This actually also features the kid from who's it? Stranger Things, a young Will. This is from 2016. This is quite a few years ago now. 6 years ago. So weird.
Feels like an eternity.
Very
That's freaking crazy.
Right?
There's so many people that are actually like celebrities that are trying to tell us, and it's funny because nobody can tell if it's parody or not. Like nobody can tell, and that's the funny thing.
Did you ever hear of what is his name? Cappy something. Simon Cappy. He had some allegations about Seth Green, and then like the story is he jumped off a bridge or drove off a bridge or something, like committed suicide. I forget his name, but there's some weird fucking shit out there.
Oh yeah.
So that whole picture thing, the triangle with the circle, doesn't it remind you a lot of something that's on the dollar bill?
The Illumin eye, the Illumin eye, the big eye, the triangle people eye. I was having
a crop circle tattoo.
They do.
She does. Oh.
Yeah.
You can see it.
There you go.
There you go.
That's sick. That's amazing. Where did that show up?
In England, it was the first one that was documented.
Oh, word.
Yeah.
There's some really pretty ones if you look at them. And apparently there's some fake ones, but then there's some they don't. There's some that aren't fake.
So this one is something that they call the golden ratio. All the circles are comprised of number units, and it's kind of like pi. No matter how many times you multiply, divide, add, subtract, it's infinite. It just keeps going.
It's like a fractal.
Yes, that's what it's called. It's a fractal. Yeah. See, you know what a fractal is.
Yeah, there's this whole concept of like hyperdimensions, which are like layers of reality that exist on top of ours.
Like the butterfly effect, all that shit.
Well, it's like there's the up and downs, and then there's also side to side, which are like parallel universes. So like alternate timelines or things where different decisions were made. So it's like I think reality is much stranger than we tend to admit.
100.
Well, I mean, look at all those videos of like, this is completely a little off topic, but we just watched one earlier and just reminded me of it. Little kids who have past life regression. So little kids will come out and say, I had a dream about this happening. And we just saw a TikTok where the kid was telling the mom he woke up crying because he swore him and his mother were in a wagon and died together in a stream. And they're back now together. And he said, if I was to die, are you coming with me? Yeah.
Yeah, he was so upset.
There's a whole, there's one page on TikTok that's nothing about that, about little kids saying stuff about their past life.
Wow.
It's crazy.
I believe it. I actually, I know I've lived before. I have the intense. I always had since I was really little, like this intense sense that I'd, lived before. That like this whole human thing was like something that I've done once before. A lot of things felt very familiar. A lot of people felt very familiar, especially, a lot of weird, instant recognition and vibing from people that like I had never, like I would meet once and randomly, like I met these two girls on a train in Europe. We had such an instant connection that they ended up inviting me back to stay with them at their hostel slash flat in Montpellier. And we were on the train going to Barcelona. And so I spent a night in Barcelona and I met up with these girls and I was like, cause I was kind of bummed out. I was not having a very good time. I was having a little like solo travel depression. And so I got like cheered up meeting these chicks and they were like, come hang out with us for Halloween. Like we're having a big party. Like you can like stay at our place, whatever. And I'm like, you don't know me. Like I could be a serial killer. Like you're gonna. They're like, no, we feel you. You're fine. Like I mean, I am, but like, I was just like astonished by their instant hospitality, and we had very familial vibes. It was very strange.
Yeah, I've had that. I also have a million doppelgangers out in the world. I actually just met one of mine at our work. I did.
Oh no, doppelgangers.
Mm-hmm.
That's got to be confusing.
Always having people come up to me. I remember you. Oh my God, we met here. And I'm just like, no, we didn't.
Yeah, but
I've never been there.
Too.
I've never been there. But literally, that chick walked into her work and she's like texting me. I swear to God, I thought this was you, except for your hair is black. And hers was platinum blonde like yours was. But she's like a half a foot shorter than you. Same body structure, same build, same haircut.
The way she walked, everything. It was weird.
Yeah. Even in the face, I guess she looked like me.
Yeah, it was crazy.
Yeah, I think the nature of reality is very strange. Like people think, they call it a simulation. Like we live in a simulation. Like I don't believe we live in a simulation, but I do think this, like the very nature of material reality is very similar to the very like how we would program a virtual universe, like a video game.
Yeah.
Except this is just a very advanced, very cool form where our like we're actually like like the sort of soul energy that inhabits these like material forms, and we sort of like jump bodies every lifetime, and you get to do new things and have experiences, and you accumulate experience, and I think eventually you break the human incarnational cycle and you go on to be whatever becomes next.
I want to come back as one of my dogs because they're spoiled as fuck.
Pretty much. Fat spoiled girls.
Yes. Or any lesbian's dog to be.
I'm really curious. I wanna figure out how to like, hop through the hyperdimensions and like, bend space and time. Like I wanna I've had these weird experiences where like I've been walking in places and I've like gotten vibes and images like from the past when like before there were buildings, like especially walking around New York. New York is very weird. It's like very charged. There's like an energy because of the way the water flows and all the fucking people.
And everything under you is made out of lime. That's why. So it holds memory.
Word.
Yeah, limestone holds memory. That's why if you look at some of the most haunted places, they have an immense amount of limestone within the ground.
Interesting. It's like it's catching like a pattern and then relaying it when there's a consciousness unit in the area to perceive the replay.
It's kind of like a vinyl record, where on a vinyl record it creates a memory and creates an engraving. It's kind of like what it does, or a cassette tape where you imprint onto this tape. But limestone is one of the main things that's ground down and used in a lot of those products too. So
it's all under Stanley Hotel.
Yeah, it's all under Stanley. It's all underneath Bob Matthews. Like the places that are most well known for being haunted. It's like the quarry of all quarries.
Mm-hmm.
I've gotten into like haunted TikTok, like paranormal. Like,
oh my God, that's
yes.
I mean, first of all, I feel like 99.9% of them are fake. They're entertaining, but I feel like a lot of them are fake.
Yeah, depending on some of them are.
But there was some interesting. I saw an interesting ghost video that was this dude in a gym. It was pretty cool because it was like somewhere in like South America, and it was like camera footage like that somebody had recorded with their phone, and so it's this guy talking over it in Spanish, and there's like some lights that flicker. And so he's in a gym space, so there's like workout equipment, and there's some ropes that are like workout ropes that you would like climb on or whatever, and those get kind of like blown and so they start swaying in like a non-existent breeze. And then this guy walks over, and there's a medicine ball on the ground, and the medicine ball just like rolls towards him, and he like jumps back and freaks out because he's like, what the fuck, like the medicine ball just moved. And he's like, you know what? I'm out. And he goes to get his shit, and he gets his shit, and he starts walking towards the door, and something like swipes him like by the legs, and he goes down on his butt, and it's like something's grabbing his one leg and like pulling him like across the floor. And then he just like snaps free and just takes off and like runs around, like swings his arm. He's like, and he just like runs the fuck around and out the exit, and he's gone.
Hell no. If that shit has the power to manifest into where it can physically attack you, hell no, I'm moving.
The one that I see that trips me out the most is that dad who records his daughter. And his daughter has his
he's in
friend.
Mexico.
Yeah, he's in Mexico as well. Well, I feel like the places that are the most religious have the most things because they're more susceptible.
Catholic countries.
Yeah, but it shows like the daughter standing up on her bed, and she's clearly asleep, and she's having a conversation with somebody. And he's like filming her, and there's nobody there. And then she's just like wakes up out of nowhere.
Wait, no, but it looks like there's somebody standing in front of her the same height as her under a blanket.
Yeah.
He removes the blanket, ain't shit there.
Or there was one where she was sitting next to
it was like
the TV.
Entertainment.
Yeah, it was like a TV entertainment center, and her back was to it, and you could see something pulling and playing with her hair. And then he immediately like runs around her, and there's nothing in the cabinet.
What the?
Yeah, I do.
And
I gotta send you the shit.
Yeah, she was like in a trance, and then she just woke up. Hi, Daddy. But yeah, I know it was like.
That's creepy.
Terrifies me.
I don't know if that's more interesting and funny, or if the fact that she's from like some kind of Latin country and her name's Amy. I'm like, the fuck? He's like, Amy. Well, you can tell the dad's scared as shit, though.
Yeah, you can definitely tell that it's real and the dad is scared.
Yeah, definitely. And I gotta send him those.
There's those people that live stream their house when they know that it's haunted. And,
they
set up things and live stream.
There's two lesbians. They're liberal as fuck, so don't pay attention to their politics. But they moved into a Gettysburg era Civil War house in, I guess, somewhere where the actual war was happening. And that shit is bulked up.
Yeah.
She's got a lot of stuff.
Noises when she'll be outside and the lights flicker on and off when there's nobody home, and like it's crazy.
I should really start a paranormal spirit release consulting gig, because we had some things happening here in the apartment in New York when I first moved in, and it was not right. And it took me many years to do some deep diving into some psychopompery and figuring out how to appropriately escort the lost wandering spirits to the other side.
Do you know how I knew that apartment was through that era that would have been needing that? Is that Daniel's pictures on Twitter where there's that beveled edge where that mirror is? And I was like, oh, that's like an early 1920s, 1930s apartment.
This building was built in 1901.
See, I knew it. I knew it was like going to be one of those where it was like that Art Deco period where there was like those, they didn't really have like edges. It was more, everything was rounded.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, our ceilings and floors are kind of slanted a little bit. They kind of like lean just a little bit this way. Like
are your guys' floors like all the natural wood?
Yeah, they're solid wood.
That's
my dream. My dream is to buy like late 1800s home and just renovate it back to its like old glory and just give it a new life and new love. I know it's gonna be haunted as hell. I don't care.
That's fine. I can
They want to make my bed for me. Cool. They want to cook me dinner? Cool. They want
It's-
to just come say hi and like move my shit? Cool. I don't care. We'll make peace. It's fine.
As long as it's not like something like gnarly, like most of the time it's just lost spirits that kind of like human spirits that kind of get lost in transit. They don't kind of make the connection to the next thing, and so they get kind of stuck. And what? Have you had that experience?
No, I actually had it. It's so embarrassing because I know like the way I think politically this would not coincide. Like they probably think I'm a kooky fuck, but so
we have to go into it if you want to. I was just
I do. I do want to actually. So I'm Catholic. I know a lot of people know that. Not a lot of people know that too. So yeah, I'm Catholic. Well, I was living in this apartment and I was going through a really bad breakup, and I basically went through like the I guess what would you call it? Like the before
the official breakup happens.
No. I'm talking about like the preemptive like things that happen before somebody gets possessed.
Like she'd be in the bathtub and she would hear and feel something knocking from under the bathtub.
Underneath the tub where the water's actually moving, and I was on the first floor.
Or like the whole thing, and I know I've had this happen too, where you hear your loved ones or people that you love calling your name in their voice.
Oh, that's
you know damn well they're not there.
Oh, that's not good.
Yeah. No. My mom, my brother, my sister, my grandparents, all calling my name while I would be asleep. And then also there was some crazy shit. I would put my head down on the pillow and I could hear this like cacophony of voices trying to come through at one time. Like there were so many at one time you couldn't focus.
That's scary.
I moved the fuck out of there as quick as I could.
When got blessed by priests.
Yeah, exactly.
It was no problem afterward. It was just like there was location.
I think I cut it off after that because there was things that happened to me in earlier childhood that I knew I was gifted, if you will, and all the women in my family are, but I cut it off at that point, which I'm sad about now because now there's like nothing. Whereas like people in my house that stay in my house can see and feel and hear things, but I can't anymore. It's just done.
Same.
Yeah, we both kind of shut it off.
My dad had the same similar experiences, except for he would have people have conversations with him that weren't there. So I always say that they're spirits. Like he would come out with information. I think the one that stands out to me the most is I grew up in Ventura in like southern central California. It's probably about like 45 miles north of LA. Yeah, 45 miles north of LA. And it was right before they realized that Chumash Indians were on the Santa Cruz Islands. Well, he kept telling my mom that they were telling him they're going to find him. They're going to find them. They're going to find them on the islands. And then sure enough, the news report came out. But I had been like dealing with that shit since I was like 3 years old.
Oh, wow.
And like hearing things, seeing things, feeling things. And then when I got to my 20s, I shut it all off.
Our house now. My mom saw that black man.
Yeah, our house. I don't think our house is haunted. I think the people in our house are haunted.
Yeah, probably.
There's a big difference.
So actually, that can happen. You can have people that have spirits that glom on, and I've heard the expression used that some people are. It's like a bus full of children with no one driving.
Yeah, that actually makes sense.
How it feels.
You can have multiple, and like I think a lot of times what we mistake mental illness is actually some sort of like spiritual illness, or it could even be past incarnational damage, something so traumatic, so horrible had happened into you in a past life that the trauma like echoes into your current one, and it manifests, in maybe a nervous issue, or a mental illness, or whatever.
I also see and believe that people who have certain types of mental illness, or they're more susceptible to it, are able to experience more because they're not so engraved in what is normal, quote unquote. Like their brains are a little more open. Especially autistic. I've seen a lot of people who are autistic talk about having multiple experiences. Like that. I don't know how we got on Haunted, but you need to know that we're the horror harlots, and like our entire life is all horror movies and paranormal and all that kind of shit.
I mean, we exhausted the pedophile subject. I figured we could go more fun.
I mean, literally, our house is like a shrine to horror movies. We have like custom painted, acrylic painted portraits of Freddy and Pinhead from Hellraiser. We have our tattoos, which are like that, like movie paraphernalia everywhere. Let's just put it this way: for Valentine's Day one year, she got me a autographed picture of
Linda
Blair from The Exorcist, which is my favorite movie in the entire world ever.
Do you know the conspiracy theory about that wasn't The Exorcist, I'm sorry, I was confusing with the Poltergeist. But do you know the conspiracy theory about the death of a little girl from the Poltergeist?
Ooh, no, but my ex-wife went to elementary school with that kid. What is it?
So the rumor was that she was sexually abused, and they had, penetrated her too much, and that caused a rupture that led to intestinal damage, and that's what killed her. She died very suddenly. And then they had the police and the fucking doctors, everybody was in on it, and they just covered it up. Said, oh, it was just, random accident. Shit happens, like, because little girls' intestines just rupture, and they die every once. Like, that just happens. That's like a thing.
That's so sad.
No, I believe that they would do that.
Hollywood is shit.
It's very, I can't remember her name exactly, but I remember coming across that randomly like a couple of years ago back when I was doing some post Pizzagate stuff. This stuff is everywhere. Corey, what is his name? Corey
Feldman. I was just talking about Corey Feldman today and how much they try to silence him.
Well, and he's obviously, I mean, he obviously has a little trauma. I mean, you look at the guy, like he's got trauma.
Yeah.
And Corey Haim fucking killed himself with heroin.
Yep.
Young man. Or did he? Or did somebody else fucking kill him? Like, who knows? It's hard to say.
I even believe Drew Barrymore too, but I just think that she's been silenced and she's not going to speak up.
MK Ultra. Did you see that bitch on that video? She was like running in the rain.
Yeah.
Everybody should experience the rain. And I was like, oh, okay, bitch. Like, what are you on?
Yeah, but then like it was crazy because all these racist people came after her. I'm like, what? Don't go after Drew Barrymore about people.
Some people are crazy, and they're gonna apparently some black people had claimed running in the rain selfie videos as like a thing for black people, and like and so because she did it, it was wrong, and I was just like, I'm sorry, you can't claim a video running in the rain. Like, I'm sorry, everybody is running. Like, I was running in the rain, and I was running in thunderstorms when I was a small child because I was so into lightning.
I'm just gonna put it this way: she's in LA. We don't get rain that often, so yeah, when we get rain,
it's exciting.
We run and play in it because it doesn't come that often. We're in drought. Out of 20 years, 19 of those. So when it rains, we're excited.
Yeah, I'm sorry. I just was reading this, Brentley, about Heather O'Rourke, the one from Poltergeist.
Yeah.
Her official COD is congenital stenosis of intestinal complication by septic shock. So they're saying it's what she was born with.
They effed her in the A so much that they broke her and she bled to death.
Yeah, exactly. Damn.
That's sad.
Yeah.
Well, there's also the conspiracy that on the filming of The Craft, another amazing movie that got me through my youth.
1996?
Yeah, The Craft.
I haven't heard this. Yeah. Tell me.
Okay, so during the whole entire filming, because they were doing actual rituals that were written down in books, that weird shit was constantly happening. Like when they went to the beach scene, they had to cancel it 4 different times because it was raining. Like they would get there, they would start doing the scene, and it would just start downpouring for no reason. And again, it was filmed in Long Beach, and we don't get rain that often. So it's like they said that every time they would try to do these certain scenes within the movie, and a lot of them were the ritualistic parts. They had to keep like switching days because all of this random shit kept happening and getting in the way.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, and what movie was it that people kept dying from? There was one specific horror movie that when they filmed it, people keep like dying of mysterious shit.
Oh, I remember that too, vaguely.
Oh, I don't remember the actual movie though.
It wasn't The Exorcist?
No.
Let's see. I'm gonna Google search cursed horror movie.
Cursed movie.
Because we saw it on Cursed Films, remember?
Yeah, we saw it on Cursed Films.
No, it just keeps giving me the things. The Curse. No, I'm not looking for that. Horror movie actors.
People dying.
Actors died after filming horror movie. Actors died after filming horror movie. The Poltergeist. Yeah, actually, apparently. First victims. The Exorcist.
I told you.
Oh yeah, maybe it was Exorcist.
Yeah, it says the movie was associated with a ton of bizarre incidents, like a fire that burned down the entire set, except for the possessed girl's bedroom, which is extra super creepy, and a lightning strike that took out.
Megan, you're right. Megan was right though too, because it is also Poltergeist.
No, he said that.
Yeah.
Poltergeist. But yeah, it was the Poltergeist where like the director and then some of the other stars and then some of the film crew, like it was just weird because all the people involved with this movie, it just like kept having these weird random deaths.
Tangina.
Let me share.
You're right. It was just Ethel.
And Exorcist also had it too.
Yeah, it's popping up too.
Brave tab. Where did it go? Is it this one? Here we go. Whoop.
Rosemary's Baby too.
So
I said Rosemary Baby first before I started typing.
yeah, so the first victim of the Poltergeist curse was this chick, apparently.
Yeah, the one that played the teenage daughter. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
So many. The Poltergeist franchise has been linked to so many deaths that most people have lost count.
Yeah. And it like went from the top to the bottom. It was like the actors and then like the fill-in actors or like the stunt people. And then it was the directors, writers, producers, and then went down to film crews. Like it just kept going down the list. It's
She
insane.
was murdered by her ex-boyfriend in my birth year.
Yeah. And then the third one that I can find is actually Rosemary's Baby by Roman Polanski.
Jesus.
But Roman Polanski, that involved the Manson family and all that stuff.
Let's just put it this way. I'm such a horror fanatic that in order to make myself go to sleep, I put on the show The Haunting or The Haunted or any type of like my house is haunted bullshit show to go to sleep because that's what puts me to sleep. I'm not creepy.
Oh, pleasure.
Oh.
I can't wonder if like there was some shenanigans there, like he like stumbled into something, or he said no to someone, or
27 Club. I don't think he was 27, but
I had such a crush on him when I was a little kid. Like the first time I remember I saw him, he was in this show called Roar on like the WB or the CBW, whatever like it was before it was like the WB. And he played a like young Viking warrior or Celtic warrior or something, you know, like leading a rebel band of Celts against the Romans, who were this like imperial invading force, like back in like, ancient England. And it was a good show. I had such a little boy crush on him because he was like an older looking guy, and I was like, oh, he's so cat and dreamy.
And he wasn't even older, he just looked older.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, he's probably about my age.
Yeah, honestly.
I wonder what year he born. Ledger born. Oh, he's older than me. 1979. So okay, so he was about 3 years older than me. So he's not that much older.
Okay, so that means he's 79. So he's 2 years younger than I am.
Totally legitimate gay teen romance, and that would have been perfectly fine for, you know, a 16-year-old Brentley and, you know, like 19-year-old Heath. That'd have been fine.
Yeah, that would have been fine.
Romeo and Juliet.
Especially back then, like that wasn't a big thing.
Oh my god, I was such a horny little teenager, and I had to suppress all of it because I was like, my life depends on me being able to hide this thing that's so wrong. And then I just like gave up. Like my senior year, I was like, fuck it.
Wait, what year were you born?
1982.
Okay, so same as Megan.
Yeah, we are dogs.
That's crazy. That's crazy because I was born in 77, and when I came out, well, I was outed at 21 because I graduated high school in 96, and that was not okay to be gay then, even though I was accused, and everybody called me a dyke back then. I didn't even look like one. That's what's crazy. Yeah, it's so crazy to think that even 5 years after that, when you guys were graduating high school, that you were still having to deal with homophobia, because I feel like from my perspective, as I was already out of high school and I was an adult at that time, adulting and living on my own, I didn't see that anymore.
Well, let's just put it this way.
But kids are cruel.
I suppressed coming out of high school. I came out to like 2 people in high school, and one of them didn't even go there. It was my best friend from childhood. But the 2 out lesbians that were in a relationship at the school would get harassed and beat up on a regular basis.
That's crazy.
Mm-hmm.
So I was the first out bi boy at my high school, and after that, like there was a whole bunch of more kids that came out. But the one right before me actually killed himself. He was younger. He was in a grade behind me, and he got into a fight with his parents one night, and I don't know the exact details of what was said. We had, I knew the kid, like we were like sort of friends, and he sent me like a AOL Instant Messenger that night, and he's like, how much of this pill would I have to take in order to like end it all or whatever? And I was like, I'm not sure, like, is everything okay? Like what the fuck is wrong with you? It's like, that's a fucked up question, like don't fuck with me like that. And he didn't respond to me, and I was like, you know what, like I was mad at him at that point because he had been we had a falling out. So I was like, you know what, I was like, I'm not gonna engage these like cries for attention. And lo and behold, like the next day, like I came to school and he was dead. And I was like, fuck. He had hung himself, but the word of it was that he, got into it with his parents, and they were very conservative, anti-gay, and he was a little bit more of a flamer. He was a little bit more of a like, he's like one of those kids from Glee, like very like. He wanted to be a pilot and go into the military, but yeah, I guess it didn't work out that way. And yeah, so I was the first out gay one that made it. Like after when I came out, people were like, "Are you okay?" Like it was like really concerned about it. It was annoying. But and then my ex-girlfriend got a lot of shit because like people were like, the joke was that she made me gay because like after we broke up, like I came out.
No, I had that happen too because I
oh, that's so not right. I was like,
I know. I dated somebody for actually 5 years that he was my beard, because I was with him from the time I was 15 until I was 21. So actually almost 6 years.
I loved Stephanie with all my little young heart,
And I still have so much love for him too. I do feel bad that I did that, but it was just, thank God in this respect, but he's like a staunch liberal, which, but he actually understands why I had to do that now,
He proposed to her.
Yeah, it was
for marriage. Like he proposed to her.
See, had Stephanie was mature enough to know that she and I were not ready for a serious long-term relationship.
Yeah.
She broke it off. And then I was sort of mad about it, but I was like, you know what? I'm fucking gay now.
Yeah.
And, I was like the end of my senior year, and like nobody, like I didn't give a fuck anymore. I was like, I'm not going to know any of these people, and then I'm going to go to school in Washington, D.C. with a bunch of gay people anyway, so fuck it.
Yeah, well, that's how it goes. You finally just stop caring.
Yeah, exactly.
It gets exhausting, trying to be a whole separate person.
Totally.
It does, and that's why even now I'm just like, and it's so funny because it doesn't even pertain to being gay anymore. It's just mostly like, you know what? Fuck it, I'm conservative. Yeah, who cares? What are you gonna do to me now?
Yeah.
You know?
You know what? It's exactly. I'm like, I'm not gonna sugarcoat my opinion for you, honey. Like, I don't care if you don't like me. I'm not trying to be like the prom king anymore. Like, I'm an adult now, and I don't need you to like validate me. Like, and I think that's really pisses people off. You know, conservative. Like, I don't even think of myself as a conservative, to be honest. I think of myself as like a classical liberal. Like, I'm just a freedom.
Same. It's just that like I was saying earlier, now being a classical liberal, like we're being pushed to the right anyway. So I might as well say conservative.
I registered Republican here in New York City for the first time ever in my life. Just to say fuck you, it's fucking Kathy Hochul. Like, I can't wait to vote. What's his name? I don't even know what his name is. I'm just gonna vote straight Republican. I don't even give a fuck. I'm like,
I was related to her and her heritage. So Jen's family actually is Native American, and their whole tribe was in San Bernardino and trickled down to like Long Beach area. And she's Mexican, but she didn't cross the border. Her family didn't. The border crossed her.
True.
And so it's kind of the same way when it comes to like the left and the right, is that we didn't cross the border crossed us.
Yeah, they took us way too far over the line, and it was just like, wait, you expect me to say what? You expect me to pretend what?
Yeah, that's what we were about.
Traditional pro-choice until I heard about the post-birth abortion thing that they were trying to do in Virginia, and I was like, you know what? No more.
Here too. They're basically saying, like, well, you can still have a period of time, like basically after the baby's already out of you, that we can just
28 days.
28 days? That's a fucking month, bro. What are you talking about? That's murder.
It's murder.
That is, because we have a word for that already. It's murder.
Like, why wouldn't you just give the baby up for adoption? Like, I don't understand.
Yeah.
So many people want the baby.
When you're starting to show, you're at the point where you need to just realize that you're going to give it up for adoption if you don't want it. Like, that's just the whole thing.
Totally.
Like, why?
Unless there's some catastrophic medical condition, which, I mean, I assume that happens, but it's got to happen extremely rare. And, you know,
rare.
And when, you know, like that happens, like, you know, that's a shame and shit. And we should be supportive, and whatever needs to happen for the health of the mother needs to happen. And it's the same with like incest and like rape, you know, for those like bizarre exceptions. I don't have a problem with being like, you know, like if they find some woman like in a fucking like basement and she's like 6 months pregnant and like delirious, like, I don't know, maybe it's better that she doesn't have that baby. I don't know. Like, maybe she should. Who knows? But like, I think there should be definitely exceptions for sort of like radical situations.
Yeah. And that's how I feel too. I think 6 weeks is a good compromise, because at 6 weeks, if a woman can get pregnant that easily, you're going to know, because you're very regular on your period. So you're going to know that something's going on. You're going to know your body. 6 weeks is right before the brain develops enough to have feeling. After that, it's a live human organism. Like it feels things.
Yeah, I mean,
like that movie, what was it? Unplanned, I think it was called. Where it was like one of the directors or CEOs or whatever it was of the P&P organization. I won't mention it just for whatever. Kind of exposing what goes on in the background. And there was ultrasounds on there showing like what they see when they're performing that.
Jesus.
It shows it trying to squirm away and go away, and then it being ripped limb from limb. Yeah. And that was at I think an 8-week point. And now they're trying to pass the new bill that allows it up to birth. Like, no. If you've carried it that long to you're up to birth, just have it and give it up for adoption, because I will gladly accept that baby. I will take that baby here and I will love it. Like it'll be my little spawn.
There's so many people on wait It's unreal.
Private adoption waitlist. But if you go through foster care, it's a completely different story. They are desperately seeking people to go in and help with foster care. And 90% of the foster care children get adopted by the people who take them in for foster care.
Yeah.
And the government will help you. Like, if you don't have all the means in the world, but you want to take in a child, love it, and give it a good home, they will help you take care of that child.
Yeah.
Which is why there's a bunch of douchebag foster parents out there. But there's people like us that if I was to adopt, I wouldn't go through a private agency. I would go through the foster care because that child needs the love the most.
Yeah.
They weren't just given up because they weren't wanted. They were given up because they were forced to be given up.
Yeah.
Yeah, there's a lot of
Can I get back to like the biggest crux of my irritation with this whole situation?
What?
It's the gays and the lesbians that are all about being pro-choice when they're fucking going through every avenue possible to have children, but then they're on this bandwagon for abortion. The fuck?
Yeah.
I have seriously 1, 2, 3, 4 friends that I've known for over 2 decades that went to the ends of the earth to get pregnant, okay? And I'm talking like literal fucking science crazy shit. Like eggs from one into the other and had babies like this, right? Which is cool. That's great that technology has done that for you. But then to sit there and act like my body, my choice, and abortion on demand is the cool thing when you just went through all that? Are you fucking serious? Hypocrite.
Mm-hmm.
Same thing with the gay men that do surrogacy. Like, what? You guys, what are you talking about? It's so fucking hypocritical. It drives me nuts.
Yeah, I still don't know how I feel about that. Like, I
don't like it. I don't like it. If you're gonna say I don't want to be an incubator for somebody, but let's make it woke and do it for 2 dudes. That's better. Like, what?
She's well compensated. And like, I get that, she's not necessarily genetically contributing to the child, that, the child genetically comes from, an egg donor and one of the fathers or whatever. But still, I feel like this is a little bit too much. Like, you're buying a designer baby. And
there's so many out there already that need homes.
Can I raise my hand on that?
Go for it.
It's not just the designer baby. I'm sorry, but I don't care if it's a different person's egg and a different person's sperm. You are just dating that child. Your blood, your whatever you eat, your oxygen are basically that child's entire existence while growing. So there will always be a piece of that person who gestates that child within them. So you can say that it's not the mother all you want, but I can guarantee if you were to pull at least a tiny bit of DNA, it's going to match. Because that's the way that I've seen a lot of surrogates kind of separate the two. Well, it's not my egg and it's not, sperm that I chose, and they're infertilizing it outside of me and then implanting it. Okay, that's cool. Cool for you. Good, bro. But your body is still feeding that child. Your blood is still surrounding that child.
I mean, but it's still a good hustle too, because that young girl that's being convinced to do this is getting like upwards of 28 to 30 G's to do it,
and all the hospital payments paid for, all medical, food, housing, usually
food, vitamins, all the pluses. Transportation, voucher,
vagina, stretched uterus.
I know, that's why I was so on the fence about Dave Rubin and his husband doing that, because I was like, oh, that had to come out right now.
I was just like, you know what, you can fucking rich gays. I'm like, it must be nice to have that money, and
that too, because there is gay men that do want to have babies, that do want to grow a family, that, it must be nice to have that disposable income to be able to do that,
Yeah.
And I think that was probably more my problem with it. It's just like, you guys are fucking flaunting your fucking privilege all over the place. Like, I can just throw this out and pay 2 chicks at one time to have these babies for us.
They both worked hard to get their money, I guess. I'm not sure what his, I'm not sure what he was doing. What was he doing before he did the Rubin Report? He had his own, and then he did locals.
He was a comedian. He was like a low-level comedian, to my knowledge. I mean, I like the guy. Don't get me wrong. I do like him, but I was on the fence about that for sure.
He seems just a little too mainstreamy to me, frankly.
Same.
He's actually going to be on Bill Maher's, I guess, new podcast that he has this week. So yeah, you're kind of right there.
Word. Yeah, Bill Maher. He's another one that I just can't. I find so like of yesteryear. I'm like, bro, you're from like an older epoch. Like the world has changed. Like you have no idea what's going on, and you're just like getting like notes from your staff. Go for it.
She used to be obsessed with Bill Maher. And so I actually applied to get tickets to the show when they came through on my birthday a few years ago. I think it was 2017.
It was a long time ago.
It was 2017 because we met in 2016. Yeah. So
2017, 5 years ago.
Yeah. And so we went for my birthday. I took her as a present on my birthday to go see Bill Maher live.
It's interesting though because he's like a relic of that time because he is what you would call a classical liberal. And it's kind of funny now because he's going back. He's staying where he was. Like we always say, it's not that we changed, the party changed, right? And now I think he's going through a moment where he's trying to fight being red-pilled, but it's really hard to fight because it's just like how much farther are you going to go with this party when they're doing all these things that you literally are saying to the public you think are fucking ridiculous?
Past Democrat, what is it?
Recovering Democrat.
Oh no, past Democrat regression.
Yeah, I mean, and he just won't let go of it. Like he's so fighting it, and it's just like, dude, you're right there. And I know that, like, because I do follow Dave Rubin, that's one thing that he's trying to say he's gonna press when he goes on his show. Is just like, dude, you're right there. You see it. You're just trying not to see it because you want to stay in this tribalism.
No, he sees it. He calls it out. He talks about it. He just won't switch.
Mm-hmm.
Because he's going to lose like 75% of his demographic if he does.
That's money at that point.
Yeah, he's going to lose money and he's going to lose the show.
Mm-hmm.
Well, I don't know. He might not lose his show. He might gain a whole other fucking group.
I think he's in LA. So being a celebrity in LA, if you don't stay in line with what they want you to do, you're going to be outcasted and you're going to be basically doxxed.
Well, somebody's got to stop being a pussy and fucking just do it at this point. I mean, I'm serious. Like, somebody's got to just fucking be the one to do it.
Mark Wahlberg fucking called them out. He called them all out in that interview.
I mean, I'm saying somebody's got to do it. Like, we're fucking gay. We're lesbians in LA. And we fucking said enough's enough. Like, somebody's got to be the outlier. And then people will follow. That's how it is. Look at how many gay conservative people we have now. And it's because one person spoke out. I mean, for me, it was Brandon Strzok.
Yeah.
And seeing like, holy shit, it's okay for me to actually be thinking these things because somebody else that's out there that's a homo is thinking these things too. And that was just like, I didn't have to hide anymore.
Mm-hmm.
That was what coming out was for me. It wasn't being gay. Shit. No, that was like small potatoes.
No, that was the easiest thing.
That was easy. Yeah. People were
coming out as conservative.
Shit.
Lost family and friends. And
oh, yeah. No. Countless for both of us. We lost a lot of family.
Like, I made the mistake of talking about it at work with a couple people. Let's just say I didn't work there for very long.
Mm-hmm.
So now I refuse to talk about it at work unless they start talking about it and I see that their political views align. If they start talking about something else, I'll just be like, shake my head and walk away.
Yep. Luckily for me, my boss is also a Latina and her husband are conservative. So like, I don't have a problem there. But we have to keep it on the down low in our company because they're so woke. We had to do DNI training. And I work for a huge global conglomerate multi-billion-dollar company. I'll never say the name of it. I'll tell you offline. But
if you think of the largest,
they own every luxury
brand. Own every single luxury brand. They own like 90% of all the major color lines for hairstylists. Like, they are literally the largest global beauty conglomerate.
So I just have to beep, beep. That's it.
She even got pulled into the office because one coworker had another customer that she had was talking about something very briefly political
about yourself,
and she agreed and got called into the office by the district manager and reprimanded for it.
Mm-hmm.
Jesus.
I still do.
So
They were
just
in the corner of a store.
And she said, and also, you're not supposed to be saying like, hey, you guys have to say team. And I rolled my eyes so far back in the back of my head because I'm like, I said, I don't play that gender shit.
And she was told she can't tell her customers that she's had for years, honey or babe or love or anything like that. And that's the whole reason why they go back to her is because she's so friendly and like just very personable. But she's not, no, it's just like, hello, how are you? Very
robotic.
She's like, hell no. No, the customers come to you for a reason.
Yeah, don't micromanage me.
No, exactly. Like they already told me like, okay, well, you need to think about if you say, oh, where are you from? Because the person looks exotic. That could be offensive. Like these are the kind of fucking, yes, these are the kind of fucking trainings I've had to go through.
Oh,
When
right.
in
I literally
reality,
recorded them for her because I was like, this is some stupid bullshit.
Oh,
yeah,
right.
when in reality, it's not so much of like, where are you from? Like, hey, Holmes, where are you from? Or like, where are you from? It's more like, what part of LA are you from? So I can point you to the right product for your demographic of people you're serving.
Whoa.
Yeah, but they take it too far, dude.
They take it way too far.
And it's so funny because all that D&I training is made by fucking white liberals. That
You should turn that around.
care.
The next time they have like a little session, you should just be like, I don't want to do this because this is racist, and see what they say.
I'm a gay Latina, and I feel like you are being racist and homophobic against me.
I already did do that. We have an anonymous survey every year.
As a Latina of color, I feel personally attacked by this training material. I feel it is very.
So I did that. I totally did that. We have an anonymous survey every year. And I said, as a Latina lesbian, I often feel singled out every June when you guys foist upon us Pride Month. And yeah. and I feel otherized because I just want to be seen for my merit and not for my sexuality. I literally said that.
Yeah.
And they after that, I don't think I'm the only one that did it because this is, I mean, I'm telling you, multi-billion-dollar conglomerate. I don't think I'm the only one that said that because that shit changed right away after that survey was done.
Stop. Stop. I think pride needs to go away. I mean, pride is one of the 7 deadly sins. It's become a degenerate, sort of perverted. It used to be because, gay people were so scorned that it was countercultural to have gay people gather and say, yes, we are here. We're taking up space. We are gay. We are proud. We are these people. There's nothing wrong with us, and fuck you. And now it's just like, literally like
special privileges now.
It's Folsom in San Francisco, all over the world.
Yeah.
It's gross.
It's really bad. And I'm a firm believer, and this is something I was always taught, is just like, you can't have pride in something that you didn't earn. And I'm sorry, I don't care if it's white pride, black pride, brown pride. You didn't earn that shit. That's not what pride is.
Yeah.
You can't have pride in something you didn't earn.
You have pride in culture, but you can't sit there and say that I did this because no, bitch, you didn't.
No, you came from your daddy's nutsack and you're either white, black, brown, whatever. That's it.
Yeah. If you want to have pride in something, I mean, have pride in, your values, have pride in your accomplishments, have pride in, being able to maintain healthy relationships with people.
Correct. It's so backwards.
Got no friends. There's probably something wrong there. There's not something going right.
We have friends. They're just spread out all over the United States.
Yeah, because our friends at core level, like the ones that we thought we had, as soon as we started being vocal, they started dropping like flies. And it's so funny because and it's so funny because our opinions never changed. They changed.
Yeah.
They changed. They devolved, and they expected us to devolve with them because they are in a state of regression. They now believe in these conversion therapy 2.0 bullshit where I'm supposed to accept, people that say they're lesbians with penises in my bed now, and that's supposed to be okay with me. And I'm like, no, you guys have regressed. What are you doing?
Yeah, I even had my best friend since I was 5 years old.
She mobbed me.
She stopped talking to me. She went after my wife. And when I was 12, her sister came out as trans. We all knew it. She was very, 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 like, you could tell. Like there's certain
like
people.
OG trans, like Buck Angel trans.
This was like 1992, 1994 came out, and I'm like, you can tell when people just have that
trans.
innate, I am trans, like the features and the actions and the things that they're into.
Our sister-in-law.
Yeah, our sister-in-law. But both of them stopped talking to me because I said that trans women are not the same as biological women in sports if they didn't trans at an early age, but I also don't believe in transing at an early age. Because I know when my friend had gone through the transition, had to go through 3 years of therapy, had to live as that gender for at least 2 of those years, had to pass the psych eval before even getting on E, and was performing as drag and everything before she could get on E.
Yes.
Didn't get on E until she was 19 years old. Beautiful woman, by the way. Like, I am not going to say she's not beautiful. She's gorgeous. Gorgeous. And I've always been jealous of her boobs because they're perfect. Bitch. But.
Well, they're fake.
No.
They grew from
Grew
E.
naturally from E.
Grew.
Perfect, beautiful, perky seaside boobs. She's like, I hate you. I hate you. I was born with not that gene. But, yeah, all stopped talking to me because of like one statement I had made. And I'm like, we've been sisters basically since I was 5 years old. Nothing has ever stopped us from being as friends or sisters. We would call ourselves sisters.
Mm-hmm.
And just gone from my life. Gone completely.
Yeah.
Makes me very sad in life.
It is sad. It's like, it's almost like a death. Like, you know, it's like they're not dead, but they're not in your life. So it's similar.
No, there's definitely a grieving process that goes along with it.
Yeah.
In a nutshell, coming out as conservative is a lot worse than coming out as gay.
Yep.
Even in the early 2000s, late 90s.
Yeah, well, it's just very strange. Like, there's this whole, now they're trying to paint, you know, the Trump supporting MAGA Republicans, the MAGA branch of the Republican Army, the Republican Party, as these insurrectionists, as these, like, you know, militant, like aggressive, like revolutionaries, as if we're like, you know, storming the gates or whatever. I'm just like, no, yeah, that's y'all. It's literally y'all trying to change all the rules so that you can have communism here in the United States.
Oh my God, that Biden speech. That Biden speech.
That was like Third Reich fucking propaganda as fuck. Yeah.
Anybody who's far extreme right, I just want to throw it out there right now. Do not do anything about that, because they are just waiting for a reason to throw us all in internment camps.
Oh, they're gonna
say far right, because far right assholes, like, let them get in trouble for their shit they do. We're not involved with far right.
Any right people, any patriot.
They're gonna have, you know, they've got MK Ultra mind slaved patsies that they can deploy on demand. So I'm not surprised. I'm so actually shocked they haven't had more of them. You know, we had Uvalde and we had that one in Buffalo. But I think those they didn't work out right. They couldn't spin the narrative correctly. It seems like the elites actually are floundering and falling apart. It seems like they're losing their ability to cogently function. And I think they're afraid. They're afraid because we're having conversations like this. They know we know, and we know they know we know. And so now it's just a matter of, you know, spreading more of this content around until the awareness reaches some critical point where they can't hide anymore. And it's there. I mean, look what they're doing to Alex Jones. They have Alex Jones bogged down in, you know, 18 million lawsuits because, you know, the parents of the kids of Sandy, because he said something about Christ. Like, honestly, like, to me, it's total, you know, psyop, you know, Fed pushed BS.
But the thing is like, the videos are out there. I mean, you can see. Okay, yeah, I'm on the fence because I don't doubt that it happened, but I do believe that there were crisis actors involved to make it worse. Because you see the video of the one guy that's fucking laughing right before he goes on the air.
So the official story of what happened at Sandy Hook is not what happened. Like, that's pretty clear. And there's so many data points that don't line up.
Right.
so many things that don't line up, like the timing of the death of the mother, the fact that there was like somebody who was arrested in the woods that the police took away, who just disappeared. There was multiple reports of multiple shooters that quickly evaporated into a single shooter narrative. So much of it did not make sense. The type of weapons that they found didn't match the type of weapons that were used. So there was a lot of shady things there, and I definitely think they killed kids because they're satanic, psychopathic.
For sure.
They have no problem killing kids. Like they'll do that. They don't give a shit. Like they do that on the weekends for fun. Like that's what
target. It's an easy target. Well, I feel like the same with Uvalde. I actually had seen a video of like military, like majors, going down on how much actual things cost. And so they were saying like between the guns, the ammo, what he had on him, the technology he had on him, the armor.
No way a kid could have afforded that.
He said there's no way that a kid on a part-time income with a poor background was able to afford all of this. And a lot of it was high grade, brand new stuff. And it wasn't used. It wasn't like it was handed down from daddy. It was brand new.
But there was also a connection between him and an FBI agent or a former FBI agent online.
Oh.
Yeah.
Oh.
Yeah.
Isn't that interesting?
Mm-hmm.
Conspiracy theorists. Not really.
Well, they keep coming true, so there's that.
I mean, we've been right about pretty much everything, and I won't list off things because then I'll have to censor this part of the conversation.
Well, yeah, exactly.
Yeah. No, it's just a whole slew of things. Everything that we've been saying that everybody calls a conspiracy theorist about.
Lab leak is fine. You can talk about lab leak now. That's allowed. That's pretty much proven too. If anybody who goes and looks in I think it's called a furin cleavage site. So this is a very particular aspect of the spike protein that basically bears a signature that was genetically engineered that could not have happened naturally, bar like a 1 in 18 trillion chance. So it's basically established that it was made in a lab, that the whole wet market thing was all a lie. And any serious microbiologist who you talk to about this will confirm this. And I encourage everybody to DYOR, do your own research. Go look this up. Don't take my word for it. Think for yourselves. Challenge narratives. Maybe this is a good place to wrap it up. We're rounding out 2 hours. Ladies.
Yeah.
So much for hanging out with me tonight.
Time flies when you're having fun.
Well, you know what? It wasn't. I had so much like pedophile shit in my head from like the last like 12, 36, 48 hours.
I know. Me too.
I need to do a brain dump. I need to just get this out there. I need other people to know so that like the fucking awareness can continue, and I need it to not be in my head. So thank you for giving me, an interlocutor in order to exchange those ideas and to get them out to the people. Folks, everyone, please like, subscribe, comment, share the show with your friends. Don't forget, you can donate. You can give us money because we're broke. There's PayPal, Venmo, Cash App, all in the description. I'll get around to getting the subscribe star up and running eventually. And ladies, we'll remind everyone once again where they can find you.
We're on Instagram, we're on TikTok, we're on Twitter, and our personal accounts, well, hers is mostly _Gady.
No, it's mostly Peaceful Gady at Twitter.
With underscores in between.
Yep.
And mine is just another fed up American pretty much everywhere. So
nice. I'll have links to those in the description so people can click them.
And it's the word on the right. I won't say it to get you banned.
Yeah, I got in trouble on TikTok because I was doing a little genderqueer Brentley, and I used the F word for gay people.
I saw that was the cutest though.
I love that word. Like, I'm allowed to use that word. I am a gay.
Thank you.
I like to use that. I think it's a funny word. I mean, geez, they use it in the UK as a cigarette all the time. It's not. I don't. This weird communism of trying to censor and control languages. It really.
Yes.
Very American. Americans, we like freedom of speech. We like offensive language. It's the whole basis of comedy. Like, go back and watch some Eddie Murphy comedy from the early.
Yeah. I was watching Raw the other day.
He uses hard N words. He uses F-bombs. He talks about drugs. It's crass. It's bawdy. You know, it's really like
But yet the F's can't talk about the F word and the D's can't talk about the D words.
in 2022. This has to change. We got to build that culture. All right, I'm going to end the recording. Love you, Fime. Thanks for watching. Bye-bye.
Bye.